Hello, good morning. Look who's here. Hi. It's nice to see you. Oh, yeah, okay. I just want to share how pleased I am with little Minerva's progress. Oh, she's been doing so great. Okay, off you go. I just want to show how plump your little belly is. Look at, she's growing. She's gaining weight. When she showed up, she was just malnourished and scrawny and tiny, and she had, um, been half frozen to death. It was so cold out, and she was found by the side of the freeway. I mean, all the odds were stacked against this little kitten, and she came through like a champ. And now she's hanging out, she's cuddling, she's purring, she's eating great. She's doing so well, so well. And I've been sort of calling her Minerva, but I wasn't sure if Albert was going to agree with that name. And yesterday he called her Minerva too. So I think she has a name. And I think she's going to stay. So we're very happy that she's doing so much better. And I think that being able, to be in here recovering while, she's got the shrine, she's got Guanyin, she's got, everybody's prayers. It's such a nice thing. So thank you very much for your good prayers and wishes since I held her up the other day and showed you day one of her progress. She has come so far in just 4 days. She's doing really great, and is turning into, even though she's still a kitten and wants to go roam, she's kind of on the roam right now. Here she goes. She's going to go wander around somewhere in this room. Okay. I have to move everything when I want to find her. She goes in the baskets or everywhere, but it's nice for her to have a little roam. So off she goes. Yes, yes. Off she goes to roam while I'm here doing practice. And I hope everyone's having a good day so far. Yesterday we were with Longevity Guanyin of the 1,000 arms, well, 16 in the depiction, but really 1,000. Today, we are with Guanyin of the blue neck. And the key word here is transformation, although I might say the more appropriate word when dealing with this myth is transmutation. So in this depiction, she sort of resembles a painting of Shiva with the blue neck. So let's read about it. Guanyin sits at the seashore. In her left hand, she holds a beautiful lotus, while her right hand forms the wish-fulfilling mudra. Her face and neck have a blue shimmer because she has drunk poison. In this form, she protects sentient beings from poisoning and disease and liberates them from poisonous karmas. According to Chinese legend, Guanyin drank a poison that arose from the ocean and could have killed all the sentient beings in the world. In this way, she symbolically cleansed the delusions and misdeeds of beings at all levels of consciousness. This story resembles the story of the Hindu god Shiva, who saved the world by collecting in a vial poison that rose from the sea. Because he could not dispose of it anywhere without exposing all beings to its deadly danger, he drank it. Shiva's face and neck turned blue, but he transmuted the poison. In this image, we see Guanyin literally swallowing our own wrong deeds, aberrations, and mental and emotional poisons to prevent our downfall. And here's a quote from the Lotus Sutra. Suppose you encounter evil rakshasas, poison dragons, and various demons. Think on the power of that perceiver of sounds, and then none of them will dare to harm you. Turn to Guanyin with the blue neck to free yourself from the burdens caused by disease and toxic substances, as well as harmful beings. Examine how you can stimulate the self-healing powers of your own body and mind to prevent rigidity and the accumulation of harmful residues. So, transforming and really transmuting poisons today. Any toxic energies in our lives, in our homes, in ourselves, in our relationships, and moving away from that toxicity toward greater wholeness, greater kindness, greater oneness with all beings. Went off the board. That one really went far. Let's see if we can get one on the board. Nope. Okay. Number 83. Visible and invisible. You can't see the moon in its early new days, but isn't it radiant gold and round nevertheless? Wait until mid-month for the lighting of the night, and then its brightness fills the whole circle of the sky. So that's the Manho Kwak translation. Now the Chris Wen Chao Li translation. The outlook is promising. Like the moon early in its orbital course, half wax, half wane, not yet reached full force, but come mid-month and the light show will start to illuminate the night and brighten up your heart. This is kind of a perfect divination for just before the full moon. Play conservative and wait for the right moment, like at the beginning of the lunar month. One should wait until the moon is full. Then all will be auspicious. Imagery of a moon not yet full, suggesting that one should wait for the right moment. And now the Stephen Karcher translation. The moon waxes and wanes in natural rhythm. On the 3rd or 4th of each month, the feeble half moon glimmers. On the 15th, the full moon shines. Round and full in the night sky, it lights the entire heavens. This is a time to harvest. Conserve your energy and nourish the spirits. Honor the experienced. Hello. Hidden in the rhythm of things is the clarity you need. Concentrate your insight and let it come into view. Then you will reap the rewards. And here's the what can and cannot happen with this divination. Your household and family are under a spirit's protection. Destiny has given you a happy family life. Your business ventures will be successful, particularly in spring and summer. Gather and concentrate your creative energy. If you want to begin a significant relationship, be patient. There may be a delay to the realization of your desire. If you are expecting a child, it will be a daughter. And if you're in conflict with someone, settle the differences through compromise and arbitration. Oh, advice to the wayfarer. Although it may seem that relationships are strained, this is not really the case. Everything is developing quite naturally. So be patient and wait until the right time comes. When the moon is full, everything will proceed without a hitch. The Dharma, waxing and waning, living and dying, the way is always the way. So true. The way is always the way. Oh, and yeah, Lisa asked what poem was it that we were researching? It was number 83 out of the 100. So really, biding our time, it feels like such an appropriate divination for the waxing almost full moon, an appropriate divination for the sharing of our gifts, an appropriate divination for the coming of spring, an appropriate divination for the waiting as the vaccines are rolling out and as next steps are being taken in the health, protecting the health of humanity. There's such a pregnant pause that we're in right now. Just like when the moon is waxing and her belly is getting fuller and fuller and fuller, we see that imminent life of light emerging. And then after the full moon, things come to pass. Things loosen up and lighten up, and we have the ability to cultivate some kind of next path. Hello. Oh my gosh, it's so cute to have a little gremlin all around here while I'm doing my practice. She's over here playing with the feathers. She's over here sniffing at this thing. Oh, there you are. Okay. Too much fun. Okay, so yeah, the Dharma is always the Dharma. Whether the moon is waxing or waning, whether things are good or bad, whether things are easy or difficult, whatever it is that we're facing, the Dharma is always the Dharma. And when we set the sort of rhythm of our life according to that changeless Dharma, we can find peace regardless of whatever other ups and downs might be happening in the world and in society. So that's our short bit for today. Bide your time, wait for the right moment, clear any toxicity, open up your heart to new creativity, new path workings, and ultimately, don't forget that the path is always the path, regardless of whatever else is happening. And if you can hold that in your mind and your heart, you will be able to stay on your path. And that's our short bit. So now let's go on with Guanyin practice. 3 prostrations before the shrine. And let's take refuge. Namo Guru Be. I take refuge in the inner teacher. Namo Buddhaye. I take refuge in the great mother of compassion. Namo Dharmaye. I take refuge in the wisdom of the ages. Namo Sanghaye. I take refuge in the community of practitioners. And let's set our intention, a person, place, situation, or circumstance that will benefit from today's practice. Oh, there's been so many lives, deaths, and rebirths this past week. We're holding all who are welcoming new lives into the world, all of whom are saying farewell. Cosette, who lost her sweet dog and who had had a really good life, and all of those who have lost significant ones in their lives. Also, the loss of a significant, powerful Amazon warrior, Jane Hockner, who died yesterday after a really brave battle with cancer, and who lived very, very fully in her life, who had a lot of adventure, who accomplished goals, who set out and created and maintained her own business with her partner, Tracy. So, holding all of those passages at the threshold today. And let's recite the Four Immeasurables. May I be a source of loving kindness in this world and all worlds, bringing a generous heart to all my thoughts and doings. May I be a vehicle of compassion in this world and all worlds, ever mindful and aware of the tremendous suffering of others. May I be a brimming vessel of joy in this world and all worlds, delighting in the happiness of others as their suffering is alleviated. May I be a balance point of equanimity in this world and all worlds, seeing all as equals and all as deserving of goodness. And let's make our offerings. I light this candle as a symbol of the enlightening Dharma way. May it shine brightly for the benefit of all beings. I light this incense as an offering for Guanyin, she who hears the cries of the world, mother of all. Omahum. 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 Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and present clouds of every type of offering, actual and virtual. I confess all my destructive actions accumulated since beginningless time, and rejoice in the meditation of all holy and ordinary beings. Please, Guanyin, remain until the end of samsaric existence, and turn the wheel of Dharma for sentient beings. I dedicate my own merits and those of others to the great enlightenment. "108 recitations of Namo Guanyin Pusa as we focus on the throat chakra today, that blue glowing chakra, and we think about any poison that we might be holding, truths unspoken, words of love that never got to be said, frustrations, aggravations, difficult news that we may have heard and that we're holding within rather than processing, anything that might be sitting here. We're going to work on this today through our Namo Guanyin Pusa. Namo Guanyin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanyin Pusa. Namo Guanyin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanyin Pusa. Namo Guanyin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanyin Pusa. Namo Guanyin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanyin Pusa. Namo Guanyin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanyin Pusa. Namo Guanyin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanyin Pusa. Namo Guanyin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanyin Pusa. Namo Guanyin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanyin Pusa. Namo Guanyin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanyin Pusa. Namo Guanyin Pusa, 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 Namo Guanyin Pusa. Namo Guanyin Pusa, Namo Guanyin Pusa, Namo Guanyin Pusa, Namo Guanyin Pusa. 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 I'm really absorbing as much as I can of this beautiful prayer before spring equinox, when it will change to another beautiful prayer. But this is the prayer that is the last words of some among the last words of Yeshet Tsogyal when she was a human being on earth. Wherever there is space, 5 elements pervade. Wherever the 5 elements, the homes of living beings. Wherever living beings, karma and defilements. Wherever is defilement, my compassion also. Wherever is the need of beings, there I am to help them. To the hungry I was heaps of food and all good things, and thus I brought them joy. To the cold and freezing I was fire and sun warmth, thus their joy. To the poor and needy I was wealth and riches, thus their joy. To the naked I was every kind of raiment, thus their joy. To the childless I was sons and daughters, thus their joy. To those who sought a lover, I was a loving and attractive consort, and thus their joy. To those who wanted magic powers, I gave prowess in the 8 great cities, and thus I brought them joy. To the sick I was their remedy, and thus their joy. To the anguished I was all their mind desired, and thus I was their joy. To those hard pressed by the punishments of despots, I was the loving friend to lead them to the land of peace, and I was thus their joy. To those in fear of wild beasts, I was a haven, thus their joy. To those who fell into the depths, I was their drawing out, and thus their joy. To those tormented in the fires, I was a quenching stream, and thus their joy. To those in prey to any of the elements, I was their medicine, and thus their joy. For those who could not see, I was their eyes and brought them joy. And for those who could not walk, I was feet, and thus their joy. I was a tongue for those who could not speak, and thus I brought them joy. To those in fear of death, I granted immortality, and thus I was their joy. I led the dying on the path of transference and brought them joy. To those who wandered in the bardo state, I was their spirit guide, bringing them to joy. I cooled the burning heat and warmed the cold of those lost in the realms of hell. Howsoever they were tortured, I changed myself to shield them, being thus their joy. To those who lingered in the land of hungry ghosts, I was their food and drink, and thus their joy. I was freedom from oppression and servitude for those caught in the wordless state of beasts, and thus I brought them joy. Those beings born in places of war, I protected them from strife and brought them joy. I was a truce from endless conflict for the demigods, and was thus their joy. The jealous gods I guarded from their bitter fall, and I was thus their joy. I shielded all from everything that tortured them, and was their every joy. And now, I read this wonderful article, and I shared it in the Goddess Without Borders group on Facebook yesterday. A really great article about a woman who went back and confronted the people who had bullied her and mocked her. She reached out and asked them if they would be willing to be interviewed by her for a project, and a lot of them said no or didn't answer. But the ones who said yes experienced healing and were able to really talk about things that had bothered them greatly, things that had influenced their mean girl behavior, things that had created the conditions wherein they acted out so cruelly and inappropriately. And by explaining what had happened, they, and discussing, both of them, how they had gone, or multiple of them, how they had gone through hard times and that had caused them to, act out. This article, it was really great. And it just really opened up a door for there to be a kind of a communication around this sort of thing. And so, if you get time to go look in the Goddess Without Borders group on Facebook, you can see the article that I shared. But otherwise, let's really think about all of the people who have ever stifled our voices or whoever used their voices to create hurt to us. And let's hold them in this next round of Om Mani Padme Hum so that we can start to transmute some of the poison. Just because poison has come into your life doesn't mean that you have to suffer. You can actually transmute it, but you have to focus on transmuting it. So let's be like Guanyin right now and transmute that poison with 108 recitations of Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 And let's give thanks for our teachers, including those people who have in their lives, for whatever reason, tried to pour their own poison down our throats. And when they did that, that was them trying to desperately detox whatever they were carrying within. We don't have to become sick from the toxicity that others have poured out onto us. We can transmute it, and like the peacock, we can shine our luminous colors into the world. May all of my blessed teachers enjoy long, happy, healthy, productive lives and great support for their good works. May all beings benefit from their wisdom. May they enjoy a swift and happy rebirth. And long life prayer for Lama Dechen Yeshe Wangmo. Om Sosti. Through the powerful blessings of the immortal Pema Jungye and his consort, may the three secret qualities of the Dakini of supreme bliss Yeshe Wangmo be utterly stable, and may the light of her activities shine on the lotus groves of the teachings and of beings, so that they blossom in radiant splendor. And let's dedicate the merit. May the merit of this practice and all of my activities be of endless benefit to all beings in all realms, beginningless and continuous. May all obstacles be overcome and suffering cease at the sound of liberation. May all beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all beings have happiness and its causes. May we carry the essence of Guanyin in our hearts. Namo Guanyin Pusa. And we close with a bow to Guanyin, bow to one another, and bow to the inner teacher. Wishing everyone a brilliant day. Make sure you write your recitations in the comments today so that I know to add them to my count. We are over 185,000 so far. Over 185,000. It's like amazingly fast. So thank you for your participation in that, and I'll be back tomorrow. Bye.